Good morning, viewers. Uh, at the outset, let me just excuse myself that the video is not 100% soundproof as I'm working from home. Okay. Today, I would like to speak on, give a brief about red flags. What do you understand by a red flag? A red flag, as the name indicates, is a signal, a warning signal. It is an alert in the an organization that something may be wrong. So, any organization with even the most tight controls and implementation of the policies and other internal controls is not 100% free from frauds. That's the first basic thing everybody should understand. But there'll always be red flags when something goes wrong. So if somebody either doesn't pay attention or the attention is paid and no action is taken on that, okay, then there may be scope for the a big fraud in the future. Just like as the saying goes, there cannot be smoke without fire. Similarly, there's a red flag, then you have to better look more deep into it. How do these red flags are known? For example, there may be from the, if you take, for example, the employee point of view, the red flags are suppose there is a change in his behavior, change in his lifestyle, and suppose he looks uncooperative or withdrawn, or there are some hints that he may be having some problems or some developed some habits which are not healthy, or he may not take leaves. He may be taking work home, or he may be working late. So all these are some of these are not necessarily any indicators, but one should pay attention to every uh, every signal that may indicate something could be wrong. Similarly, in accounts, suppose there are too many debit and credit memo entries, and then year-end adjustments, or there are when you are doing an audit, there may be missing documents, and then missing vouchers, missing supporting external vouchers, and things like that. The auditors. Especially during the course of their audit and especially the internal auditors should immediately focus on that aspect and then bring it to the notice of the management. And also it may so happen that there may be red flags from within the organization, like suppose an employee is observed about his behavior, or that he finds in his another coworker some different behavior, or he comes to know through another third party that is colluding with the vendors or others who are doing business with the company in securing orders or placement of purchases and all these things by taking bribes. And if it comes to somehow these things, they cannot be hidden for long. In one way or other, they'll be out. So then some people may come to know about it. And if there is a red flag, the management should take action. Okay, similarly, the account discrepancies, unreconciled accounts. The and as I already told about these missing documents, these are all red flags. They indicate something maybe going fishy. So, specific attention should be paid to these red flags. Like suppose if it's an inventory, there are maybe too frequent missing items, or the shrinkage in inventory, or there is too much of scrap value, and these things, are clear-cut red flags that the organization, the auditors, are The fraud examiner, during the course of his fraud examination, if he comes across these things, he should uh, they should be probed deeper and brought to the knowledge of the management. It so happens that at times the management or the even the structure of this do not take appropriate action on the pretext or on the giving a reason that there is still no adequate evidence or things like that, or sometimes they may turn a blind eye. In the case of banks, for example, we look through the exception reports, and there are cases where we have come across some specific exception reports entry, and when we probe deeper, we have come to some conclusions which are not favorable. Okay, and similarly, a bank giving advances to meet their targets by not collecting the full documents, uh, especially in very big loans. They just be a bit lax in following 100% and explaining to the auditors, no, we'll be getting shortly, things like that. So, and we have to pay careful attention to all these aspects, and scrutinized. It is a big problem. You see, all these are reflects are may indicate a potential problem. Okay, yeah, it may or may not accumulate into a fraud, but if frequently these red flags are overlooked, then there is a problem. A problem might come, and it may escalate, subsequently causing losses to the organization. So, in fact, in a ACFE, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners of US, in its 2019 or so report, in some 2,600 examined cases of these frauds and all, but 50 to 80% of the fraud cases, there are red flags. There are red flag indicators which, if probed or if taken seriously, might have mitigated the fraud, or the fraud might have been discovered or detected much earlier. So, the behavior of the employees, the accounting patterns, the way entries are made, any suspicious entries, adjustment entries, and also complaints. Sometimes complaints by external parties, other of some competitive vendors, that something is going fishy in your organization because your employee is favoring some particular supplier or whatever, and all these things. Are internal red flags raised by the employees against somebody, a co-worker or somebody who came in the place of some employee going on leave, and you found something fishy in the transactions. All these aspects the management should take as red flags and probe deep, and try to nip the problem at its base before it escalates. So with this brief, I'm quite sure, because it's a lengthy thing to explain these red flag situations in all spheres of the organizational activity, and especially even in accounts of under various functions, because there may be cases of multiple payments if the management is lax by colluding with the employee and the vendors, and then covering it up in some by duplicate invoices and all these things. There are several ways. Unfortunately, as we discussed in our other lessons, fraud is not committed from some what you call invisible people. Fraud is committed by people. Okay, and they take advantage as it was clearly explained in my earlier lessons, as a fraud triangle, irrespective of whether it is employee side or even management side. Everybody takes advantage of a situation and make use of the money is not belonging to them for their personal purposes, and in the case of management for their luxurious living and all that one. So as auditors during the course of audits and as fraud examiners during the course of a fraud examination, we must always focus our attention towards red flags. In the case of auditors, they should clearly bring out such alerts to the attention of the management, giving specifics of the situation, and the management has to take corrective action in this regard and try to avoid the frauds. So with this brief description about these red flags, I will try to write it a bit, put in a PowerPoint presentation a little bit elaborate in due course. I'm quite sure yeah, it will be of some help to all my viewers. One thing I want to share with you all is why I have started this small short briefs is I consider it as it is also our as a social responsibility as a chartered accountant and as a fraud examiner to bring to the attention of the one and all about all these various aspects. Because day in and day out, everyone deals with even in their day-to-day business, they deal with people, they deal with organizations and all that. And online is become the order of the day, especially now with this COVID-19 pandemic. There are COVID-19 related frauds also, which I gave specific reference in one of my articles, duping people by promising about supply of precautions that are to be taken for this pandemic. So the point is, we should, on a continuous basis, even repeatedly, should keep on educating the public. Just like that, you get a phone call, you pick up even before you talk. You are now last 6 months, 5 months or so, you first get the same message about the precautions or other things that you have to take about COVID-19. Similarly, in day in day out, you keep getting SMS alerts regarding be careful of that, be careful of this, don't respond to this email, that, this and all that. So it's a continuous process. It's very well, I had a good experience with in my 14 years of Africa in one of the companies that I worked earlier. The African boss, very highly intelligent man and all that, he used to tell me only one thing: Mr. Rao, you have to tell people or the workers or the employees again and again. Make sure that they get your point clear. That's the reason even known facts we have to repeat and repeat. Hope this will be of some help to you. Good luck.